Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I welcome you to Mickey's Crotch.
Dude, that lighting was horrible.
Mickey's Crotch. What am I looking at, dude? Like, why are you showing me? What am I looking at, man? We got TechFall lighting his shot. We got Mickey figuring out how to
Figuring out life.
figuring out crotch pics, dick pics on Zombie SquadCAST.
I don't want that light in the shot, though. Come on, man.
This is the whole beginning of our show, huh? Unfucking the lighting setup on your
Yeah, well, I don't want those lights in the shot.
the lights are in the shot, bub.
I know. I don't want them in the shot.
So what?
Guy's setting up his stuff, man. Let him get cozy in there.
How's the crotch shots coming over there, Mickey?
I can't believe I can't do this on my phone. I can't
MXKY?
On my phone.
Well, are you logged in? Is it the same account that you have signed in on both your pad and your phone?
I don't think it's the same thing, but you should be able to change the background on your phone, man. I just updated it too.
I don't know if virtual backgrounds work on phones.
They don't, do they? Dang.
I don't know that. I've never tried.
They might not.
But virtual backgrounds work on your pad, though, right?
Yeah.
So that's iOS, but the pad and the phone are both iOS.
Yeah, but I'm using my phone today.
So, but they're both iOS. So
Yeah.
virtual backgrounds. So if the virtual background works on the pad and both the pad and the phone are iOS,
I get what you're
then that's it.
But the software capabilities might be different on the phone than the iPad.
Okay, so did you update the app on your phone?
Yes.
And did you update the app on your pad? Well, obviously you did because you have virtual backgrounds, and TechFall moved the lights,
right?
And he's got the backwards Kango.
And I got the shirt.
You got the shirt.
I was telling Tech he's looking more like a disc jockey the more podcasts he does. He's just turning into like a.
Dude, I'm looking kind of like Joe Roganish right here. Except actually, I got hair, dude.
All right, Joe Rogan's not somebody you should want to look like. I don't feel. Not that he's
below the neck, maybe.
I guess.
The guy's fucking jacked and shredded.
He's in good shape for
multi-level black belt in kickboxing. So I hear.
He's a badass.
Why do we always got to start off with Joe Rogan, man? It always resolves around fucking Joe Rogan.
Listen. Joe Rogan has Netflix comedy specials, and the last thing I saw from you was a backwoods comedy open mic at some bar in Fredericksburg. No one could understand the audio.
Dude, there was so
camera mic.
Dude, there was so many technical difficulties, dude. It was unbelievable. Like
technical difficulties, aka what?
Dude,
Tech fails.
It was ridiculous. Nah, dude. Seriously though, man. Because the mic was like shorting out on me, like when I was doing my bit, like the whole time. Like I kind of had to jerry rig the mic while I was doing my set, which is like.
Hey, listen, man. I biffed the time on the show today. Some people are not happy with me. Not to mention just TechFall and Mickey, but there's some other people not happy with me today because I biffed the time on the fucking on the roundtable today.
Did you really?
Mickey can't figure out his virtual background. I see no Mickey right now. I just see at least he's got branding. Oh, look
God, there he is.
Look at that. Look at that sexy son of a bee right there.
I get my new background up.
Turn the phone the other way.
Why you gotta turn it the other way, bro?
Fill the screen for me. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
No
No virtual background on the phone.
Killing me, man. I spent all day working, well, not all day, but I spent time working on this new logo too. It's all good. Anyway, what happened today? You had a round table. You had a round table today. You just had a guest. I saw you went live
I
earlier.
biffed it, man. I scheduled this for 8, and I had no idea. I didn't update the time to 9-ish. That's what us married. That's what us married dads ish. We got to put quotes in an ish after everything. Oh, let's schedule that for 9-ish. And then I totally fucked the dog and didn't schedule it for 9. I scheduled for 8-ish, and so I'm like an hour-ish late.
For a second, I'm like, are we in the same time zone? Just because I've been like in different time zones, I'm like, that guy lives on the East Coast.
Hey, let's start off with Malibu. Mickey and Patience and My Woo went out to Malibu.
We did go out to Malibu, but I gotta, just before we jump into that, I know you went live earlier today. Who was your guest on the show today?
Eliza Kelly. She's an actress in the DMV, actress and producer, and she's done a number of projects with. Actually, after the fact, we realized we worked on a number of shows together, and she's worked on a number of shows with other actors and film crew that I've worked with on other projects with. So yeah, it's a small, cool little market out here, but I mean, nothing beats Malibu, you know. Martin Sheen over there cleaning up the streets.
Dude, Don, were you like crashing parties over there, man, in Malibu? Like just rode up on some random person's mansion?
I mean, we definitely had some friends take us to a few parties, but I mean, you can't not go to a Malibu party if you're going to be in. We were actually in Silver Lake, which is like, it's kind of the same area, but it's also a nice area. And
it's not a Malibu party without a Mickey Boo party.
Dude, Silver Lake
is
a
Malibu
like,
party.
Dude, Silver Lake is like the Williamsburg of Los Angeles.
This guy really,
a lot of hipsters over there, man. Over in Silver Lake.
Okay, what? Wait,
what? A lot of hipsters over there in Silver Lake.
Have you ever been there, Chris?
Dude, I've been all over Los Angeles, man.
All over. This guy really is. This guy's been all over LA. Malibu, tell us about it, man. Tell us about your time over there.
First off, how about you start? You tell us about your recent My Woo trip, Patience trip, whatever you want to call it, and give us the deets, man. Give us the update.
We'll just call it a quick little getaway. Is what we're gonna call it. We're not gonna call it anything else. Yeah, it was great. I mean, took a few days off, and yeah. I mean, every time you go to California, you're like, yeah, this is probably where I need to be. And this was definitely that kind of trip. I mean, just the couple days I was there, it got into the 90s, and California usually stays in the 70s and 80s in the summer. But just beautiful, man. I mean, a lot of driving. I was going to rent this like crazy, this like ridiculous BMW. I didn't get it in the end, but I got some other thought or something. But yeah, it was fun, man. We spent most of the time at the beach and just connecting with some people, and everything was kind of shut down, right? It was the second wave of the coronavirus, so not everything was open, but everything in Malibu was like pretty much popping. And this party was definitely not social distancing. The couple parties that we went to, so
I fucking knew it, dude. I was gonna have you come over and work on a project with me. I'm not having you come over now.
No. But
so.
The story is, I didn't go inside to this party because I was a little bit concerned about going in and spending time around people, because I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I'm pretty sure Sam didn't feel comfortable doing that. And that girl in there, she definitely passed out at the party for like a second. Like these guys were drinking a lot, and I was just there, just sort of enjoying myself and just sort of taking the vibe and maybe meeting a few people. But it was a good time, man. And we definitely social distanced most of the time. It was a really funny story where we went on to one of the more popular beaches we didn't think would be super populated, and it was super populated. We bought all this food, and basically the tide came up super high. The lifeguard was telling us it went up to like a 65, which meant there was like a good 600-foot cliff above, the backdrop of where the beach that we were at. It was Paradise Cove, was what it was called. And the water got so close toward like 3-4 p.m. that like all of our food got like soaked up. We spent like $100 on food out of this place. And we just lost all of our food. It sucked, but it was really funny. I don't think everybody was super happy about it, but it was ridiculous and stupid. But it was a fun time, man. it was definitely a good few days to get away for a little bit.
A little semi-business vacay.
It's always business nowadays, man. This entire economy is about to melt, and everyone's gonna lose their mind soon, and the cost of living and everything else starts to go up with inflation and the elections coming up.
Well, listen, dude, like every 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you know, there's a whole bunch of bubbles that burst, and there's a whole another new like market and like rack of new bubbles that emerge. And it's like, you know, those that were kind of, I mean, it's like every 10, 15 years, it's like the artists emerge and it's the hippies. And then the next 10, 15, it's like the more conservatives and, you know, the business types and like and the hungry wolves emerge and succeed. And then the next 10, 15 years, it's the hippies and it's the artists and it's like the liberals. And it's
It's a beautiful little wave that we just constantly.
it's a wave. It's a vicious cycle. It's just like yin and yang. It's like, yeah, dude.
But it's the most real thing in the world. Like things deteriorate and then grow, and like that's like the most natural order. And it's capitalism, and it's really just like we know these market cycles happen, and people prepare for them, and then there's people who don't prepare for them, and then there's people who, you know, get involved in the greatest, like, you know, wealth exchange every 75 years or 10 years, and there's people who just try to survive. Like I think it's an incredible opportunity to learn how to navigate these up and down turns, because they're going to happen every 10. Like everybody knows, if anybody's been paying attention, they've been alive for 20 years, they should know, like, these things are going to happen. And so, right, like if you were ever going to start paying attention to real estate, like I know a lot of people are just buying houses now because interest rates have been cut so low, but right, like the markets are going to plunge. Like this might be the first time we get like the millennial group like buying houses for 50% less because they can actually afford to do so. And so it's just cool. It's just an opportunity to learn like more about how this economic, you know, system really revolves, you know, throughout these market year cycles. So it's cool, man.
Again, dude, like it's not necessarily economic. It's like what are you targeting in on that has just been rock solid for the longest time? Like media, advertising is always going to be rock solid. Real estate, and not commercial real estate, like real estate.
Definitely not commercial.
Like everybody and their fucking mother has a property that's going to house a fucking, you know, a husband, a wife, 2-3 kids, or something of that manner. It could be a same-sex couple with a kid or two, but whatever the case may be, it could be just a couple in a condo. It could be a townhouse. It could be a single-family home. It could be a mansion. Businesses come and go. Commercial real estate dropped because of COVID, and what rose was real estate. Was not commercial real estate, but residential real estate. Residential real estate rose drastically because of the COVID, because everybody was working from home. Okay, but dude, at the end of the day, even with the real estate bubble, even when the real estate bubble burst, there was still a market within real estate. In 08 when the economy bubble burst, it became a buyer's market, and 5, 7, 10 years later became a seller's market again, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't matter what bubble bursts. It doesn't matter what fucking recession or et cetera. Something happens up or down. There's always an up in some way in real estate and in advertising and in media. Okay.
And the stock market. I mean, yeah. 100%.
And so stocks within such.
Yeah.
And so
every time something bad happens, I feel like there's an incredibly proportionally larger amount of opportunity than there was when things are like peak good. You know, when like people sort of sleep and miss opportunities and still be fine and still live a great life and live the American dream. Whereas like now, like we're going into this like, you know, stage of the economy where like everyone's going to be spending less, right? And so the Fed's going to pump more money into the system to try to get inflation to rise so that costs of things will rise. so that people will
Right.
be forced to spend more, which will hopefully balance the economy back. But like, I just think it's an amazing. I think that like on one of your last podcasts, you were talking to this really interesting guy. This I think he's a filmmaker producer. And he was talking about how this idea of happiness and like this Buddhist concept of like not suffering. Like I think this is going to be the first moment in our history as Americans where we get to feel what the international community has felt for a long time, and we're going to be forced to not seek out instant gratification. We can't go to the movies. We can't go to the malls. We have to stay at home and be on Zoom. We have to focus in on something and be productive and really learn to deal with it, or you're just going to lose your mind. And I bet a lot of people are just losing it right now.
But what he was saying is, yes, he was saying it's a Buddhist mindset, and it's about it's about happiness and blah 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 blah. Now, you're saying saying people are not going to movie theaters anymore, and people are not going out to bars anymore, but people are not clicking onto that channel. You can find the same show, whether it be drinks, whether it be sex, whether it be TV and film, whether it be working out. People were going to gyms. They're not. They're doing home workouts. They're still tuning into the same show, if you will, on a different channel, on a different platform.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to the gym. They're pumping iron on the few dumbbells that they have in the basement. They're not going to the bars. They're going to the beer and wine store that has been cleared, and has COVID compliance. They're grabbing a shitload of cases of beer and wine, and they're drinking at home, and they're doing Zoom happy hours, and they're doing, they're having a couple of friends over. They're still watching the same show. It's just through a different channel. And so we're still doing the same things. It's just finding a different avenue, a different channel of doing such.
Right. It's a challenge. I think, so I think what's happening, right, the best way to like succinctly put it is like, we're all being massively forced on a global scale out of our comfort zones all at the same time, with each unique challenges in each of our countries and communities. And some people are saying, no, I'm still going to go out. I'm still going to do those things because I'm not going to get uncomfortable to that level where I like really have to be socially responsible. And a lot of people are, like you just mentioned. So
listen, I mean, even before this, and chime in whenever you feel like, TechFall. I mean, you're kind of quiet, and that's odd. That's odd for TechFall to be quiet. But dude, it's like you guys can even agree. You guys can even vouch that I was never a big movie theater goer, unless it was the big epic of epics, unless it was Star Wars, Marvel, DC. Unless I mean, I think you and I went and fucking saw. I remember you and me, Don, went and saw fucking Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire back in like 01.
Yeah, that's how much of a homebody you are. It was about 10 years ago.
Dude. I mean, how much does it cost? But I had other channels of being able to see those movies. I was getting pre-release tickets because I was in a million different media departments. Mm-hmm. So I was seeing them in the theater, but when it was empty and for free, or I was seeing it on iTunes, or I was seeing it on demand, or I was getting like screener DVDs because of all the different media outlets that I was in. Yeah. And so I was able to check out all these movies way ahead of time while they were in the theaters without spending 30, 40, 50 fucking dollars in the theater. So again, now it's, and so 5 years ago, 10 years ago, Netflix fucking launches, Hulu launches, YouTube launches. And it's like, I'm watching shit from streaming, and people are like, man, DVDs, Blu-rays. I'm like, bro, no, it's fucking streaming, dude. And 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I was like, we're going to be watching shit on the fucking phone, dude. And now, bro, that's all it is. And there's, and within the last 6 months, there's been like HBO Max, Peacock, Pluto had a secondary major launch. Tubi had a secondary major launch. Vudu just popped out of fucking nowhere. Now there's a website.
Roku's stock has never been higher.
Roku's okay. And there's a stock tip right there, but you got to think about it. It's either buy or sell. And to touch back on like what we were talking about, like, bubbles bursting or not, it's either a buy or sell. And you have your four guaranteed fucking markets. It's real estate, media, advertising, and health
Or hell.
and health. And so when there's not a health scare, it's time to sell. No, when there's not a health scare, it's time to fucking buy out the ass. And then when there is a health scare, it's time to fucking wait. And right in the middle of the health scare, it's time to sell and make fucking buku cash. And so when in the '08 in the '08 market crash, okay, it was buy fucking real estate or buy stocks in real estate. And then as things and that's because it's a buyer's market because because values are drastically dropping. So obviously it's a buyer's market. And then 10 years later, the economy's great. Everyone's living a lavish life. Values go up triple, and it's like fucking sell, dump it, cash out.
What's scary about what's happening right now, though, is that since like the 50s, 60s, 70s, I think we've been like on an upturn where we started printing less money, and then the economy started to rebound, and then the dollar got a little bit strong, even though it's on an overall decline. Like I think now for the first time in like 40, 50 years, we're back into like a full-on decline with the dollar again officially. So while there's a lot of good opportunities, and there's a lot of great individual opportunities, people who like seize them, the overall fear that will unfold itself in the next year or so will be determinant on one, kids going to school, how much schools are actually worth in terms of the ROI, because everything is going online now. So they're charging the same amount of money or more because tuition has been increasing for decades now. But now everything's online, so it's cheaper.
Joe, but you still have fucking universities like Harvard and Yale charging the same fucking tuition for online fucking semesters.
It's not sustainable. I can tell you that.
Are you fucking kidding me? I can get the same education. I can get the same education right now from Harvard and Yale as I could University of Phoenix.
And some of these schools, some of the Ivy League schools are hip to that, and they're throwing in 50% discounts because they know they're not getting the same amount of value doing it online. So they're going to have to incentivize it for the kids so that, they don't lose some of their, customers basically. But some of these schools are like, no, they haven't made those adjustments. Our brand is so big and powerful. We don't have to.
But we're Harvard, even though it's online, we're Harvard. I'm like, bro,
right. Yeah.
Fucking I fucking care. I'm not there networking. See, that's the thing about Harvard and Yale. Like I agree with you that brand and that institution and establishment is a thing. Okay. And I personally can call it bullshit, and you can call it verified. But here's the bite is that when you're there shaking hands, schmoozing, networking with alumni, with graduates, with up and comers, with who the fuck, what are those things called, Chris? They pump money into football teams. Sponsors,
the boosters.
You're fucking there schmoozing with boosters and sponsors and alumni and donators. That's really where the business comes in, with being Harvard, Yale, Ivy League, bullshit. If you're on a fucking pandemic, bro, and your college education, which again, we can all disagree. I do think an education, like a certified, licensed, and or degreed education, I do believe that is important. But if it's online, then online education is online education, and you're going to have reviews. So I went to Towson. I went to in-state. I went to an in-state university for film of the same state that I've always lived in, and blah 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 blah. And I think I got a great. I didn't go to UCLA. I didn't go to Full Sail. I didn't go to NYU. I didn't go to what the fuck? What the fuck is Spielberg's alma mater? Like UCLA or South Kakalaka or whatever the shit. Yeah. No, I went to fucking Towson, but I got a real world hands-on phenomenal education. In my personal opinion, I think I learned a lot and I did a lot. I networked a lot. Now, shit, man, I'm 40 years old and I'm doing a goddamn podcast on YouTube, but still, dude, like there's a lot of stuff on my resume and on my reel that speaks volumes compared to a lot of others. But, it's like but back to the subject at hand, dude. It's like online education is online education.
So this is my thing. I think what's going to happen, and what I've been already seeing a lot on social media is a lot. So the tech guys are always ahead of it, right? Like the tech guys were the first one to be like, all right, we're going to start hiring people with soft skills. We don't necessarily need college degrees. As long as you can code, we can train you if you're young enough to figure out hard skills and how to think about it, right? Because school kind of messes you up because the rate of things changing in tech so fast. They'd rather get kids that are young and undergraduated if they can, handle some amount of coding experience already. But what I've noticed recently is that some of these tech people are coming together and putting together universities, little micro, experience-based teaching courses or larger like systemic, groups of classes based on their experience, based on them actually living and doing it in the tech world versus the traditional university set, which is professors who've never done it a day in their life, and they're teaching you the same sort of the failure mentality of like, here's what it is in theory, but there's no practical application that I could really share with you in my class about what I've done. And so they basically have seen that that's a huge disruption possibility to basically help the tech sector find the next really smart, up and coming, set of partners and employees and stuff. And I think in the next 5 or 10 years, and this is my kind of prediction, is that you're going to see the ROI of schools, if they don't figure it out quick, continue to rise, whether we're in COVID or not. And it's going to, the level of education is going to go down as it's been going down. And you're going to see these tech people come in and disrupt the crap out of it and offer stuff at a comparable or lower price that's more based on the value that they provided to the marketplace. And that kids are going to start figuring out that, like, if you can go to that, you can get a lot of information on the internet for free. Why would I pay the price stick of tiger $50,000 a year to go to a big brand Ivy League school when I know at 35 or 45,000 I might get something better that's actually going to be not as much of a networking opportunity, but I'm going to meet those professors and get that knowledge they've gotten. And then who knows, maybe networking will go virtual too. I don't know what's going on.
Bro, listen, but listen, in your defense, because I've heard your arguments about education and about institutionalized education and it's
been slipping. It's just not as valuable as once.
But listen, what are you paying 40 a year for? What are you paying 20 a year for? Honestly, what are you paying 20 a year for? You're paying for books.
You're paying
for a test.
Books, tests, yeah.
Bottom line, bro, you're paying for books. You're paying for the collection of information and knowledge that's already been acquired. A collection. How was that collected? PDFs, books, online websites, manuals.
It's scalable. All
instructions, and then a test.
Right.
So I mean, bro. Tech can attest to this, man. With the military, they send you to school, man. They send you to school. They got some classes, but you got some online classes. I mean, there's so much DLC. There's so much online courses that I do with the military. That's really changed my perspective. It's these online automated things, right? Mm-hmm. They have some pre-made videos. They have some PowerPoints. They have some PDFs, and then they have check on learning. So what have you learned already? Here's a question. Yeah,
that's a good point, because the fire department does the same thing. Like, everything's online. Like, we use target safety. So there's a guy that will assign you a target safety, that you have to get done, completed. So it's all online. Do, like, whether we're training on metro drills or, there's a PowerPoint on COVID-19, the protocols and stuff that we do within a job. It's all online through target safety.
Right.
So any information that you want on,
but this is already collected information now.
Yeah, it's all anything that you want to train on, as far as, like, for instance, say you want to train on forcible entry. There's a whole training video on forcible entry.
Right.
There's a whole training video on ladders. There's
so you've
different
got your
videos on.
You've got your modules
on size ups.
Right. But you got like what? 8 modules, right?
Yeah.
You do your first module, which is what? PowerPoint, some videos, check on learning. Module 2, PowerPoints, videos, check on learning. You all the way up to the end, and then you get your final exam, and you've done that in 2 fucking hours, and you got you're certified for $150,000 a year job.
So that's how we keep up on our certs, is through target safety. and
But
but everything's online.
sell me on me paying $2,000 for that course.
Hmm.
It's
Sell
not
me
gonna.
on that.
I mean,
It's not gonna happen in the future. It's not gonna happen. You know,
Convince me to pay $2,000 for that course, as opposed to I'm about to take the COVID compliance officer for film sets course. How much do you think that is? Take a wild guess.
$950.
Get rid of the 9.
$50.
50 fucking dollars, dude. It's collected information that is put into a brief, simple, and yet concise, understandable, and informative professional webinar for 2 hours. It's $25 an hour. It's a $50 course to become a COVID compliance officer for film sets. You know, it's offered for producers, directors, ADs, production coordinators, production managers, fucking, you know, camera departments, production departments for film sets. It's $50, dude. And so at $50 fucking dollars for a 2-hour course to become a compliant COVID compliance officer, and the rest of film school online should be about what, $200 a course for an online course? 300. I'd pay $300 for film 1, film 2, film 3 each. I'd pay $300 each. And you do and shit now, like, and not even quarantine, not even COVID standards. You go out and you shoot something. Figure it out. And they give you tips, dude. It's fucking 2020. There's all sorts of fucking indie filmmaker tips that can be compiled. What Rodriguez did to pull off El Mariachi, what Tarantino did to pull off Reservoir Dogs, what Kevin Smith did to pull off Clerks. You know, all these people finding ways. Hey, look, there's actors out there that work for free. There's voiceover actors that work for free. There's this film crew that work for free. There's different sites. You're in this market.
yeah,
You're in DC.
it's basically like guerrilla filmmaking.
But so much information is already out there. What are they?
Like I bought a book on guerrilla filmmaking when I was taking a film course.
Yep.
Over at PG Community College. Like,
Yep.
I invested in a guerrilla filmmaking course, and it had all these different types of techniques on filmmaking, like how to use different resources. Like say if you want to get an aerial shot, one of the techniques was use a Ferris wheel to get an aerial shot.
Yeah, man.
You know, pay like $10 to ride a Ferris wheel, and you got an awesome aerial shot.
And you got to sit there.
Fantastic.
You got to sit there. You got to sit there and wait for that magic moment when you get to that peak and then capture that and catch that joint. You're right, though. Like 10, 15, 20 years ago. Hey, man. All right. Here's an idea. Ferris wheel. We got to pull off the Ferris wheel. So where are we going to be at? So where's the Ferris wheel? The only Ferris wheel that I know of in New York that I'm thinking right off the top of my head is where?
It's Coney Island.
Coney Island. So, okay. So we got to rewrite the script so that, you know, Joe and Jill and Jack, where would they be? That's not exactly Coney Island, but I could pick them up from a shot from the Ferris wheel Coney Island, and then you rework your script. You got to work around your script. You kind of have to, like, you know, cut up this, cut up that, blah 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 blah. Right now, dude, that's $1 million idea right there. You just saved me tens of thousands of dollars.
Dude, and you paid $10 for that shot, or however much it costs to ride the Ferris wheel.
Now how much is that education worth? That little idea right there that you just gave me.
Dude, I think I spent $20 on that book, and it was the best investment I've ever made.
Right, but
when I was going through film school, I was like, man, because it just showed you all these different ideas and like how to cut. Like we use one technique, like when a train goes by, we use that as a cut.
Now look at this. Now look at this okay. So look at this episode of this podcast that we're doing right now, and how much information, how much education are we putting out there? How much would you charge for a class like this? I'm not gonna, like how am I gonna sell you on paying me, $3,000 for this kind of a class during COVID?
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, dude. Harvard, Yale, what else? MIT. See, MIT is different. And that's the thing. See, MIT has built labs. They have real estate. They have property. They have labs. They have equipment. MIT students build labs. They build equipment that future MIT students come in and work on, and then they evolve that, and then they graduate. Huh?
For a long, they've had free classes for a long time too. MIT,
and MIT has had free classes.
They knew it was coming.
And now you have like, and doesn't Google have a fucking university?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of mentioning on before, was that, yeah, like when the tech sector does that and MIT does that, it's officially going to start happening everywhere. And on top of that, you also have now influencers that are turning $1 million course industry into $1 billion course industry. I think within the next year, they're saying, because they're giving so much value in terms of what works, in terms of what advertising and marketing, you would have to learn inside of a marketing firm. They're teaching you how to do it in YouTube. They're teaching you how to do it in social media, because those are now the platforms where the most attention is being garnished. And they're charging less than what you get in a college course. And they're giving 3 times the value or more, or whatever, than you would get like an advertising class. So it's not going to last.
Bro, and that touches upon that touches upon the advice that the point I've made to you guys for probably 6-7 years now.
I knew that's what you were getting.
Rich people.
Yeah.
Rich people are not greedy. Successful people are not greedy. They're smart. Dude, I'm going to put this thing out for like 25% of the normal cost.
They've solved.
And it's going to have 250% more value, more product, more, substance and meat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to rip people off. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing, for a more realistic price to get more people to jump on. And it's more valuable, and I'm selling it for 1/3 of the cost because I believe in it. Number one, I mean, you got people that sell shit like a Louis Vuitton bag at $300. Like, why?
It's a brand that they're just buying brand.
But Hanes is a brand. This is a
$10.
This is a $10 hoodie that's lasted me 4 fucking years.
It looks about 4 years old.
It doesn't. It does not look 4 fucking years. You're full of shit, dude. You're lying. This looks like a fucking black hoodie. Is all I wanted. Okay, granted, all I wanted was a black fucking hoodie to last me a while, and I got my money's worth, man.
But some people buy status signals. Some people buy stuff to tell other people that they're elite, they're high class.
Okay, so fashion, yeah. Okay, so
it's not fashion. It's to tell other people that I am of a social status that is high, and people who don't do that, it's just the contrast that they create. It's just this weird. You're worried about what people think more than you actually care about. Like when you buy that shirt, you're buying it because it's serving the functional, practical purpose, and you don't give a shit what anybody thinks about you wearing it. Or you're not trying to send out a signal.
I do give a shit about how long it lasts. I do give a shit about how long it lasts. Now, I'm familiar with an affordable brand, and I'm familiar with affordable, semi-fashionable branded products. Hanes, Old Navy, American Eagle. I think is a
Brooks Brothers.
Yeah. TJ fucking Maxx, Holmes. I mean, dude,
dude, everybody shopped at TJ Maxx, dude. I don't care who you
I still shop at TJ.
I love Ross and TJ Maxx. I got these crazy nice leather, whatever hype. What I'm realizing is that all that
different.
Stuff is just a supply chain that they keep dropping lower and lower and lower. If you're dumb and you buy stuff for retail, you don't deserve to be wealthy or successful or an entrepreneur, because you never buy stuff at the top of the market. That's what buying retail
that's
is.
the thing. At TJ Maxx, if you walked into TJ Maxx at the perfect time of day, if you walked in on at TJ Maxx at the perfect time of day, you would find the Louis Vuitton bag for 1/4 of the fucking price at TJ Maxx,
or something close. Yeah,
maybe. Maybe just what's her name? Kate Spade. Maybe just Kate Spade, but
but still, that's the game. Is that you're paying for what? Right, when you buy that Louis Vuitton bag, you're paying for all the advertising money that they paid for billboards, for marketing in magazines,
but
for every commercial ad. You're paying They didn't. You might not have even seen the ad.
But
You're
where?
for it
See,
when you buy it.
this is what doesn't make sense. It's like what's hot and what's not, and what's old and what's new, and it's like, bro, like I think there's this hard grained thing that I put into my fucking head decades ago. It's like, I don't care. I will never, ever give a shit about that. Jeans is jeans. Denim. Cotton interwoven. I don't know. I forget what denim's made out of. I know it's mostly cotton and something else. But this cotton interwoven into each other. It's all the fucking same. Whether it's Lucky jeans, Levi jeans, Lee jeans, or whether it's whatever the fuck.
I agree.
Cross colors, or you remember cross colors back in the old fucking 90s?
I don't. But...
Oh, you don't remember cross colors? Okay, I bet Tech remembers cross colors. Tech, you remember cross colors? Tech's like, oh, I gotta get my headphones. Hold on, I gotta get my headphones. I gotta grab my microphone. You remember cross colors?
Oh, dude, I remember cross colors.
Yeah, he remembers cross colors.
Of course, everybody remembers cross colors.
Mickey doesn't remember cross colors.
Remember skids?
I remember skids.
I remember skids, yeah.
But like, dude, what's the difference? But what is the difference? What is the difference, Tech? Because
it's just one company that's been around longer, and they provide a better version of this. It's really, look, for all practical purpose, you represent the man of the classic era, which is like, give me a pair of jeans, give me a good pair of boots, give me a hat because
I remember growing up, like the main company that everybody wanted was Guess jeans. Guess jeans was like the super hot commodity.
Dude, exactly. Thank you. That was the brand I was looking for, Nick. You got Guess, you got Lucky jeans, Guess jeans, Tommy Hilfiger jeans, Lee and Levi. What is the difference? What is the fucking difference?
It had a triangle square on the back pocket.
Get the fuck out of here.
And people were like, oh my God, dude, you got a pair of Guess jeans, dude.
Oh, wow, it's got the triangle pocket. Oh.
Marketing.
You can't survive, Nick. You can't survive, Nick, without the fucking triangle joint.
Dude,
that's
like, what's the difference between that and wearing a pair of Bugle Boys? Remember Bugle Boys back in the day?
Yeah, I remember Bugle Boys. Yeah. So, whatever, dude. I mean, so back to this education bullshit, man. It's like, dude, you cannot fucking sell me for an online college education anything above the fucking roster, anything above the pamphlet of University of Phoenix.
I'm interested to see what happens when your boy grows up, because I think that's going to be a really interesting time. Because
forget about it.
I think honestly, if that generation is able to get a skill set that rivals what they're going to get in college, I don't think we're going to see the same sort of order that we grew up with the same paradigm of going to school and getting a job and all that. I think, and then starting at the bottom and learning the skill set.
So you're talking about a skill set. You're talking about a skill set. See, we have turned all the way around back to what our parents did. Our parents had a skill set.
Right. Well, they went to school, but they quickly knew they had to get really good at a skill set. Right. They had like live or die or skill set.
My uncle did carpentry, plumbing, home repairs, spackling, and so like there was a shitload of stuff around this house. For example, this house, we move into this house, and the wife is like, "Oh my God, we have this problem, we have that problem, we have this problem." I'm like, "Oh, no fucking problem. I know how to do that. If I wanted to, I could make a living off of being a handyman. I could make it a living." Like you have to be a certified electrician. You have to have a certification to be an electrician. You can even ask Tech. You have to, you have to have a certification to be a plumber. What's up? What's up? You gonna say something?
But a handyman, you don't have to have it.
You don't. But to be a handyman, you can do a bunch of simple stuff, and you can.
That's not a special skill. It's not. That's a jack of all, right?
But if you can do all that stuff, like Joel does all that stuff. My buddy Joel.
Yeah.
He's a handyman. Like he works
but
a regular job.
You can start an LLC.
Yeah, you can.
You can start an LLC as Joe the Schmo handyman. Yeah, and dude, and like
and just start off start off with some small clients, and then build up your business that way, and you get references from people. That's normally how it works.
Yeah, my dude,
Or as far as a handyman goes, they'll be like, man, this guy's really awesome, man. He did a phenomenal job. He got the work done. Like, he
yeah,
can do everything. He can do
and
plumbing,
they get all their reviews off of Nextdoor.
and that's it.
And
Like, they don't really have to have a whole lot of promotion involved.
nowadays,
And
see nowadays, but like 30, 40, 50 years ago, like my uncle, just straight up out of his fucking ass building houses and renting them out. That's an entrepreneur if I ever heard of one.
Like, I did a couple jobs with Joel,
Mm-hmm.
because he needed a guy to do some handyman work.
Yeah.
And he hired me on a couple projects. Back when I was doing electrical work, like, we installed like a hot water heater, and just doing odd jobs here and there. But yeah, and he doesn't have a license, and but he gets a lot of work though. He gets a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah. Got that excess root beer.
Cheers. By the way, I can't see when you. Yeah, I'll talk to you right now. Are you? I can't believe you're still getting it. I don't even notice it. But yeah. But you know what? It's not just those. It's just all skill sets. I think so. This is another thing that I was thinking about when you were talking about it. Right now, everyone's over prescribing college, and everyone's lawyer, doctor, engineer, all those like tech. Like, those are all the oversaturated, super competitive markets. UX design, all these things that have been popular on the last few years. But what's happening now on the other end of like the blue collar skill sets are becoming more valuable, right? Because nobody wants to be a plumber, nobody wants to do a lot of these jobs, but the demand is still pretty high, even though the pool of applicants and people with the skill set is smaller. So, like I think I mentioned on a previous podcast, in Colorado, I met this guy. He was Ubering, and he had like an engineering degree or something, and like decided he was going to start up a plumbing company because there was such a high demand, and he thought with his two kids, this side business and that side business would better to be able to spend more time with his family, and the combined income would be comparable to an engineering job. So,
yeah,
like, there's a shift certainly happening right now in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, dude. Without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, it's just rip off central, and I think people are not willing to accept the sign of the times. I mean, Prince called this fucking decades ago. Prince did. On MTV,
Oh, really?
Prince was like, yeah, I'm not going to let these record labels, I'm battling these record labels for profit shares, profit percentages.
Mm-hmm.
These record labels are taking, 66% of my album. I'm doing the writing. I'm doing the performing. I'm doing the composing. I'm doing the recording. But because they release it, they're taking 66. And he was on MTV. I think it was like 96 or 97. He was on MTV. He said, dude, people are going to use the internet to fucking take music. Artists are going to be releasing their shit on the internet. Record labels are going to be obsolete. Motherfucker saw the future, man.
For sure.
And so it's little things like that. It's little things like that compound into all the other different markets. You got music, you got movies, you got books. Motherfuckers, dude, like I've had a couple of colleagues say to me, man, like, I'm going to write this book. I just don't know where to start. And I'm like, dude, just write it and self-publish on Amazon. There's a website. There's a simple one-click website on how to publish your book. On all you got to do is fucking write the thing.
I've networked on LinkedIn and had people try to sell me their book, or just like send me a link, and it's like a book that like wrote like on there, like no big publisher deal. They just put it on like that Amazon. It's so easy now to network directly with your customer base, right? And all you're doing is finding the same product or market fit that you would be doing on a larger scale, just individually. I think the whole world is turning into like networks, like Uber, obviously Lyft, Airbnb. Those are all network based. Like everything is going toward network. So
yeah,
the whole
it's over. Cabs are over, bro. Remember when we were in Savannah and our cab driver didn't even have a GPS, and we're looking at this guy like, dude, you're not going to be a cab driver for another year. You don't even have GPS. I'm telling you, like I'm off this little Tybee Island, right off of Savannah. And he goes, "How do I get there? Do you know how to get there?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't know how to fucking get there? You're a cab driver. You're fucking dunzos, bro. These days are over for you." And it's like it's Uber, man. It's Uber. It's Lyft. It's like it's all network. It's all network interlaced, integrated, man.
Instead of having to buy physical overhead for a company now, all these kinds of disruption app companies like those are basically saying, I want partners in a business, and I want my partners to figure out how to cut the overhead down through their network and basically have a way to surplus a distribution chain or use existing people's assets or whatever, like in the case where people are using their cars for Uber, instead of having to buy anything new, you're just using what people already have, and you're compiling a network, and then you're basically building trust within that network, and then you're basically charging a service that is needed, and you're doing it for less than what exists out there without a network, which is a taxi cab or a hotel.
I mean, I wouldn't say that that cabs are going to be obsolete, because if you go to a major city like New York, like Uber can't.
It's such a small market, though, dude. And I don't mean to cut you off. I couldn't agree with you more. With such a small market,
But
like
I'm
New
saying
York
City,
City,
it is going in that direction.
because listen,
But major cities, they have to have cabs, because there's just way too many people in Las Vegas. Like when I was in Vegas, they had Uber, and like sometimes just Uber didn't work out for whatever reasons, and it was easier for me to get a cab because they have cab stands and they have a line,
Sure,
Uber line. So it's kind of like some of the times I took cabs, and then some of the times I took Uber.
okay. So number one, let's go back to New York City. So you got the what are those horse cabs? What do you call those? Those fucking horse trolley cabs.
Yeah.
Like those guys know the city, like you wouldn't believe, dude. They know the city like the back of their hand. But dude, like nowadays, I'm pretty sure they got a little fucking GPS and
like when I lived in Baltimore, man, I used to take a hack. Because
you took a fucking illegal Uber is what you did.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're arguing for Uber, dude. It's not a cab.
I'm not having an argument. I'm just saying. I was just making a point, saying that.
What did I say?
I don't think that cabs are gonna.
No, you're arguing for Uber more than you are for cab.
Yeah, I'm saying it's going.
I'm not saying we're arguing.
It is definitely going in that direction.
In 10 years time, when Tesla comes out with his car that
listen,
automate and send out like an Uber, there's going to be the cab system. What we're saying is the cab system needs to get more networked than it is with this dispatcher bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it's like I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. There is a convenience where you walk right out the fucking hotel, you walk right out the airport, and there's a line of cabs. You just get in the first joint, and you're like, "Hey, man, Marriott downtown New Orleans." They know what the fuck it is.
You could order a Lyft by the time before you get down to the escalator.
Good point. Good point. But here's where the network needs to get, is where instead it's just a line of cars. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is. It's just a line of cars. You get in and you and you bump phones. Here's my location. And they're like, okay, I got you. And they drive you. And then 20 years, 30 years down the line, Tesla has like an auto car, self-driving auto car. You just get into the back of this fucking, van that auto drives. You go boop, and it just takes you there. You know what I mean? It's like it's not even a fucking driver in there. I mean, that's the future of that biz. How did we get off of that? Education? Yep. You can't you're not gonna be able to sell me on a Harvard education online if it's not University of Phoenix prices, man. It's not. You're not gonna get me on that joint, man. I'm sorry.
I think that's the next big bubble to burst is the education bubble, and I just think the people that are going to clean up that mess are the entrepreneurs that are in the game right now, whatever respective fields that they're in, and they're the ones teaching it directly. through online courses because that's turning into a bit.
It's not only the entrepreneurs, man. You got to get these entrepreneurs.
Anybody.
You got to get these entrepreneurs to become lobbyists to fucking change the laws. Because you got the lawmakers, you got the politicians.
You don't need to. You just build something better, and the market automatically starts shifting.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole nature of disruption, by the way.
Oh, really?
If you can build something better, people will just. The free market gives you the option.
Okay. Hey, listen, dude, I'm all about it. See, at my age, at my financial security, and you know, I can say that, and you can say that. There's a lot of people that can't say that. There's a lot of people that are not given that opportunity because there are laws and there are regulations and limitations placed in front of them that they have no control over.
Like what? Like if I have a skill set and I could work the job. You saying if I don't have a degree, I can't do it?
I mean, listen, I shouldn't have said that because now this is going to get complicated. But I mean,
don't be afraid of it, man. Just dive right in.
Listen. I couldn't agree more with certifications and licenses. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a cert or you have to have a license to do X, Y, and Z.
It says you have the skill. That's all it says.
Right. It does.
Verify.
Within a certain market, within a certain country's laws and regulations.
Sure, but if you have, so what I'm saying, what the tech industry is doing is saying, or what like you know.
But there, yes, right. But there should be a freer market on the education.
Well,
to get that education.
I think the internet's going to do that anyway. It's just going to happen real slowly, right? So if Harvard still wants to keep their prices up, we're still living in like a virtual option world in 5 years.
But again, Harvard, Ivy, but isn't Ivy League like 80% of the network and like the community? But there's no community. Yeah. Well, there's no old sense of that community anymore. It's all social. It's all digital social networking now.
Well, we're going to go back to things pretty soon. I think we're going to go back to some level of like human interaction that's going to be in the public sector. But I don't think everyone's going to want to return to the whole same price tag of what it costs. If we're able to be more productive for at home, and when we're clocking out at 5 o'clock and we don't have to go home in our cars or commute because we can get 3 more hours of work done, you know what I mean? Like, people are more productive right now. So I don't think we're going to go back to the way it was, even when we can. I think there are going to be a lot of companies, like Google has already announced, when no one's coming back to the office till 2020, the end of 2021, summer 2021. I don't think because a big company like that sets the precedent is already doing that, that's a signal for other companies to say, the reason they're doing it is because they're cutting so much cost and they're getting more productivity. Oh, we're definitely going to jump on that bandwagon because we're going to improve our ROI. Shareholders are going to love that. Employees are going to love that option. Company, having their cash flow is going to increase. Obviously they're going to love that. Company. So we're not going to be living in the same. Like every paradigm, I feel like is going to shift in one way or another, simply because costs are just going to be cut naturally if they don't go back to the more expensive version of it.
Yeah. Okay. Tech thoughts?
I agree 100%, man. On but I'm a big fan of getting certifications and stuff like that. I think it weighs heavily on what your certs are versus like if you have a college education. Like I think getting a college education is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's what you do while you're getting that college education. What have you done what kind of experience are you getting while you're getting that college education? Versus like if you have all these certs, like you're basically perfecting your craft, because you have the certifications and you're able to do these different jobs that you're qualified in. So
yeah,
like a lot of these tech jobs are all based on certs.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying, is that the skill set is based on a certain amount of hours of understanding that you're able to complete a certain task. You don't always need, right? To get an IT job, you don't always need a college education. You just need the actual certification for the
Yeah, like
hours.
IT is all about certs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to have a
Fucking
college degree.
being an electrician, like see, like, you know, like the trade school. When I was growing up, and no offense to anybody that might be watching this, but when I was growing up, it was like the bad kids went to trade school. You remember that, Chris?
Yeah, they all went to Tall Oaks.
That's
Yeah.
how the Rockefeller economy was built 100 years ago.
Remember
Exactly
remember
that.
Tall Oaks?
I think Tall Oaks was one of them. Yeah.
It's a vocational school.
Yep.
But dude,
Yep.
all those guys that went to Tall Oaks, man, were very successful.
Yeah.
They became auto
Fucking
mechanics.
mechanics.
They
Yep.
became
Electricians.
They
Yep.
became
That's
HVAC
why
ties.
is adopting that apprenticeship model, because those things are more in demand now. Back then, it was more in demand. There was probably less people going to those places.
Yeah.
Because everybody
And now again, because bro, like I'm on next door looking for like Joe Schmo, and the first person I text, only because we live around here, I text Melissa's parents. I'm like, hey, do you have a plumber? Hey, do you have an electrician? Hey, do you have a handyman? And
there's so many apps for this now, dude.
but here's the thing, dude. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's about there's always a network. There's always a network. And the first thing, and I'm not the only one that does this, I know everybody does this before they go on Angie's List, before they go on Nextdoor, before they go on Craigslist. They hit up their pops. They hit up they hit up their homeboy down the street. Who's your plumber? Oh, my dude. I found him on Nextdoor. Oh, you just happened to find him on Nextdoor? I found this guy on Nextdoor. Or I've been using this guy for years. He's now on Nextdoor. You can find him on Nextdoor. Da, 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 da. You know, like, but dude, the first thing everybody does, hey, you live right down the street. Who's your plumber around here? Great guy. Or this is the guy to go to. Do not ever call this guy. You know, it's always something like that. Always something like that. The first thing you do is you text your in-laws or whatever. Bro, I thought I had a plumbing issue. I texted my parents-in-law. They texted me this guy's information. This guy hits me back on WhatsApp. He wants to FaceTime. He's like, just show me the thing. Show me the thing. I show him the thing. Oh, bro, too easy. I don't even have to come over there. This is what you need to do. You need to take a shot vac, jam it into that hole, suck all this junk out with your shot vac. Problem solved. And God damn it, he didn't even come over here. And problem solved. And it's like, dude, I didn't even go on Nextdoor. I texted somebody who texted me back. Boom. It's still, look, we're using text messaging. I mean, isn't that social media? Isn't that social networking? Isn't that, you know, modern day ish? Fuck, bro. If I called my grandparents, you know, back in the 90s, they might give me a guy's number. I would have to call him on the phone, leave him a voicemail. He would get back to me. He would have to come over. There was no fucking FaceTime back then. And this guy didn't even want money for that. This guy was out to lunch with his family when he FaceTimed me. I mean, we used WhatsApp, but this guy was out to lunch when he FaceTimed me. And within 5 minutes, he knew what the problem was. He told me what to do myself, and I fixed it myself. And all he wants is a good recommendation on Nextdoor. So I told my in-laws, I told Melissa to tell her parents to write him a good recommendation on Nextdoor. I didn't even do it. So he's going to get a good rec, but you know, but anyway, I mean, dude, like, you're right, man. Like you're always going to need that tradesman. You're always going to need that certified specialist.
Supply and demand, 100%.
Supply and demand, because I need water running through my house. I need electricity running through my house. I need Wi-Fi running through my fucking house. I need heat and AC running through my house.
Those industries are always safe. They're always safe industries. People always need this.
But is there a stock market in that?
Yeah, there's a ton of energy companies. You just asked me, you were asking Chris. You can energy companies, Duke Energy. There's tons of companies.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, as far as like energy, yeah, but like, is there like, you know, air conditioning, like air conditioning conglomerates? Is there like fucking plumbing?
like
mean,
I'm sure that you could
those-
invest into like Michael and Sons is a really big electrical
if they're publicly
company.
traded,
Michael and Sons,
yeah.
boy.
Michael, I have used Michael and Sons. Like,
Dude, I did a huge media campaign for Michael and Sons.
and they're huge. You know,
Yep.
like I'm sure that you can invest in some type of stock with Michael and Sons because they're blowing up. You know,
Water companies, and petroleum fuel energy companies, man. Yeah. Hey, there you go, bro. Fuck water companies. So, lighter note, man. TechFall, I heard you had an immaculate, amazing, phenomenal time at Maryland Casino Live.
dude, this pandemic is crazy, man. It's like I haven't like been out like in a casino or a hotel or anything since the pandemic. But
Hey, shit. Mickey was
dude,
out there in Malibu
it is
crashing
it
potties.
is, dude. It is absolutely ridiculous, man. It's like checking into an airport when you're going through the casino. Like they want
What
the
were you thinking?
They want the wallet, the keys,
Why did you go there?
everything out of your pocket. I
But
went there.
why did you go there?
I went there for a birthday party that was like 15 minutes away. So we decided to go get a hotel over at Maryland Live.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't know like how it was gonna be or what it was, but the service was absolutely horrible. I would never recommend going there during this pandemic. You got to wear a mask, of course. You know that's like pretty much the standard. So I was waiting in line to go get some food because I was like, man, where can I was like, dude, it's like 11:15 at night. I was like, where can I get some food? Like we just wanted to go grab a bite to eat. I was like, okay. Cheesecake Factory was closed. I'm like, Prime, they're like, they denied us. And every time that you walk out of the casino or by the restaurant, you have to check back in and do the whole airport security, like take off your shoes, take off your belt, dump the keys, dump the wallet. They scan you, like step to the side. Dude, it's like, it's not even worth it, bro, to go through all that. And then like I was waiting in line to go get some food because they have like a food court area. There's nowhere to sit. I'm waiting in line, and the guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, 6 feet back. you got to put your shoes in the slot.
Yep.
You know where they mark them." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
boy.
like, dude, it took them 42 minutes to get this pizza out. They didn't even tell me that my food was ready. I was like, I'm done with this place. I was like, I can't even get a mixed drink. I was like, the bar was closed. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, we stayed in the hotel and we're like, dude, this is the worst. I'm never coming back here again. This pandemic has destroyed. And you know what? Maryland Live was a good place, man. Like back before the pandemic, it was a fun place. They made it unfun.
Made it unfun.
It's not even worth it, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's no bands there anymore. Like it used to be off the hook.
Dude,
Like remember
well,
all those,
first off,
all those
okay,
bands
okay.
that used to come?
dude, I saw some good fucking shows at Live. I forget the name of the stage. What's the name of the stage?
Well, they changed it now. They have a whole new venue.
Dude, I saw some good fucking shows at Maryland Live. Oh God, what's the name of that band? Oh man, me and an ex-girlfriend used to go there. Every time this band went on tour, every summer this band went on tour, and we would see them probably 2 to 3 times. And it was a cover band, dude, but they were freaking phenomenal. Yeah. And one stop was always Maryland Live, and another stop was this one big ass bar. It might have been Dead Freddy's. It might have been Dead Freddy's in Ocean City, and that was like their ritual. That was always 2 main stops in Maryland. They always made. Every summer when they did their summer tour, and we saw them at those 2 spots maybe 2-3 times. So we saw them twice a year, probably 2, 3, 4 straight years. It's a fun band. I can't believe I can't. It wasn't OAR, but it was she's probably gonna send me a message on Facebook like, "Don't you remember?" But that was years ago, man. That was back when like we talked to David Balin.
Dude,
but anyway,
dude, that was absolutely dreadful, man.
But dude, I bet, man, like
it was more of a pain in the ass.
Was it really that important? Was it really that important for you to go for this birthday?
I mean, it was some people that when I lived in Baltimore that were like really good friends of mine, and they hit me up on Facebook, invited me to the party. So, of course, like we were coming from DC, so I told them that I'd go. I haven't seen them in a long time, like 10 years, long time. So yeah, like when I commit to something, like
Oh, I know you do.
I commit to it, like,
I know you do.
and it was, and I've lost a lot of people in my life, and like I've regret like not seeing people, and like that's one of my things. Like I lost a whole ton of people. I'm like, man, I wish I would have just saw that person, or met up. You know how people will get when they
Of
get
course.
older. Like you get busy and you you try to make it to people's functions and people
Yep.
invite you and you're like, I can't make it. I guess I got this thing going on or I'm just busy. Like I don't want to look back and be like, man, I wish I would have gone to that party that I was invited to because they were really good friends of mine at one point. I mean, they still are good friends, but when I was living in Baltimore, we hung out all the time. They used to come over to my house. And like, man, we would just go out to Laurel and DJ and go to these different parties. And it was just cool just catching up with them. Like, so I have no regrets of going out there and seeing my friends, But as far as going to the casino was like a different story.
Apparently so.
Was a different adventure, I mean, it was absolutely horrible, man. The service was bad. And yeah, and this pandemic is ruining stuff right now. So I would have rather, just kicked it, man. And like, dude, they charged me like $28 for like 4 drinks. I'm like, are you serious? And I was like, I don't even want the pizza. I was like, cancel my order, give me my money back. I was like, I'm out of here, dude. I called Grubhub and ordered food.
Did it deliver to the casino?
And the funny thing is, the first guy I called, he had no idea how to get to Maryland Live. I'm like, are you serious?
Well, good for him, because who the fuck wants to go anyway?
So I had to call DoorDash. And they delivered. I'm like, dude, all I wanted was like a mixed drink and like a pizza. That's it. Like,
so did the Grubhub order? Like when I order Grubhub, I always get a text like, hey, it's Joe, your Grubhub delivery guy. I'm leaving your food at the doorstep. Did they just leave your fucking food at the entrance of the fucking casino?
The first guy called me. He goes, I have no idea where you're at. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, you don't know where Maryland Live is and you work in this vicinity? I was like, dude, forget it. I was like, I canceled with that guy and then called DoorDash and the person met me down the lobby. So yeah, the whole thing I was just done with. I was done going. I was fed up going.
You can't go out, man.
I was fed up going through security. I was fed up that none of the restaurants were open. And I went to the Prime Rib, and they're like, "Yeah, well, we got to check to see if we can seat you." And they're like, "Nah, we're not seating you." Then I had to go through security again, and then waiting in line for like 40 minutes. And then them not giving me my food, and then charging me $28 for 4 drinks. I was like, I'm done. I am done. I am through with this place.
This is awful, dude. Dude, and I feel so bad for you, Tech. Your 40th birthday is coming up. Your 40th birthday is coming up. You know how we're celebrating that, right? Dude. Do you know how we're celebrating that?
I have no idea.
A podcast.
Just like this.
Okay.
I'm not fucking going out, dog. I'm letting you know that right now. Me and the wife are gonna cook us a feast. Me and the wife are cooking us a feast. We're gonna get a bottle of wine. I'm gonna get a 6-pack, and we're gonna sit in front of Zoom and be like, let's get that Zoom 40th birthday going for TechFall.
No,
your son's gonna wake up one day and be like, my dad hasn't left the house in 7
That's you. I'm gonna do something. I don't know about you. I'm gonna do something.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I didn't do shit for my 40th.
Dude, things are gonna go back to normal here, Glenn. You're gonna have to leave the house.
It's not going back to normal anytime soon.
It is in the next year.
Sorry to say.
In the next year, we're gonna be. Everyone's going out now.
A year from now.
Everyone's going out.
Maybe
going out and doing things. There's
a year from now. Maybe. Yes, I am willing to go out to Giant Food and get the essentials and go to the beer and wine store. Beer and wine store. I'm not There's
Giant-
no point, man. You just admitted to how unsafe you were in Malibu for the
I was
fucking.
very safe. I was extremely safe. I didn't even go inside the party. I was outside on the balcony the whole night. Outside.
I like that. I like the way that sounds coming through that glass.
Hey, Matt. Hey,
Oh, dude, they open the door like all the time. Like,
dude, how's my buddy Skrillex and Diplo doing, man? Jack Yo. Were you hanging out with Jack Yo? The dynamic duo?
He's talking to you, man. I wasn't in Malibu.
I was definitely in Malibu.
Hanging out with Justin Bieber, the Biebs.
It was just me and your mom and the Biebs. Just the three of us. Wonderful time at the beach.
The Biebs.
It was lovely, dude.
Sharon and the Biebs
They were so charming the entire time. It's great.
Sharon and the Biebs,
Like,
they were charming.
You were hanging out with Skrillex. I'm from Los Angeles. I don't know if I want to make emo or dubstep. I'm still trying to decide. But we got something really cool, man. Me and Diplo worked on, man. It was called Jack U. It only lasted for we did that project.
I think that was like 8 years ago. I don't think they're doing that.
We did that project for a year. It was really cool. I got to perform in Miami at Ultra. It was super cool.
Where is this voice coming from?
It was super.
Is that
cool.
what he sounds like?
Yeah, he does actually. It was very cool. Yeah, working with Diplo was extraordinary. It was really cool working with him. His production skills are phenomenal. They're epic. His production skills are he's a very talented guy. And we came out with a really good project called Jack Yo. You can check us out on YouTube.
I like how you gave him like a list.
Hi, I'm Skrillex.
I'm Skrillex, and this is Diplo, and we are Jack Yo. Dude, that was so long ago, man. Dude, they played an Ultra in 2015, bro. Now,
a long time
now,
ago.
nobody cares about Jack U.
Jack U,
Nobody
you up,
cares.
boy.
Nobody cares.
So, I don't know if anybody knows this about Mickey, but he refuses to waste his time, and he only dedicates himself to one or two pieces of media per, I want to say maybe one piece of media a month to waste his time on. So has anything popped up this month? A movie, a show, a series, a book?
I mean, there's always a string of books. Just to correct, I'm consuming social media, just not like movies and shows and music as much these days.
You are focusing on the wrong thing. You should watch one movie a day.
Right. So usually I'll read at least one book a day, and listen to a bunch of podcasts.
What's the last book you read, brother?
I've been reading a few books. I've been reading The Art of Negotiation. I just got close to finishing. I've been reading a book called The Supplementologist about different supplements and.
So The Art of Negotiation. What'd you take away from that so far?
Well, it's definitely it's worth a read. I can tell you that if you think you know how to negotiate, no matter if you're a professional negotiator or not, you have no idea how to negotiate well at all. That's all I'm going to say. It's a short read too. It's not even a hard read, but negotiating is not what you think it is. And the beauty of it is that once you get good at negotiating, you can use it in every part of your life because you start to see everything for what it's actually worth, not what you would like to get a deal for. You just know how to value something the proper way without having to know all the market details about it, because it's definitely a skill.
Yeah,
definitely a skill set. But I've been reading this really good book. By the way, I come onto this podcast because I need recommendations from you guys. Tell me what the heck I should be watching, because I don't know what I should be watching. Because I don't watch, because I'm just trying to
listen. I would sign up for Tubi, which is free.
Okay.
And watch everything from anywhere between 1981 to 1989, dude. get on some classics, get on some retro classics, suck up some of the old school stuff, dude, because that's what I've been spending my private time watching stuff. So I might watch something, you know, like my now that me and Melissa, we got the kid, dude, the schedule. You and I used to talk, you the three of us, you, me and Tech, we used to talk about multitasking. And you know how I was able to multitask this, that, and the other thing. And my schedule now, dude, with the kid and the wife, like I could probably be president better on my skills with multitasking now if I was given the opportunity. Because, you know, like the way me and the wife split up the hours. I mean, dude, we have like the day cut down into like 30-minute segments. So that's 48 30-minute segments, man, throughout the fucking day, dude. So I'll grab the kid and I'll watch either the show The Boys. There's a show called The Boys on Prime, and it's set in a superhero universe, not DC or Marvel, but it's set in a superhero universe where superheroes have been hired by a corporation and branded, and now they are corrupt, and there is a small sect of humans, normal powered humans, that are trying to expose them and take them down and figure out a way to essentially expose them, if not, you know, defeat them. But it's awesome fucking show. It is based on a comic by a lesser known, you know, comic distributor, not DC or Marvel. But so that's like a show that I'm watching. But then, you know, if I've got the kid, I'm on Tubi watching 80s flicks, man. Tubi and Pluto. I'm watching 80s flicks and Vudu. So there's a number of streaming platforms that are free. And you know, if I were you, man, I'd sign up for one of these. It's free. You have ads, maybe three ads per film. But dude, watch.
There's also Crackle TV.
Crackle, yep, Crackle also.
That's free.
I'll tell you
I downloaded.
I'll tell you why I'm not going to do that, because that's what 85% of the world's doing right now.
Okay. Hey, listen, man, I'm telling you,
I
man,
don't ever want to be there.
You got some good product out there. They are streaming good classic product.
But I think my main focus is, you as a filmmaker, your main focus is to absorb film, so you could put that lock stock into the
yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
You know, you want to build that fortress in your head.
Well, then in that case, man, dude,
I want to do the same thing with skill set.
I would just stay on YouTube. Like I'm assuming you're on YouTube. I would just stick with that, dude.
Well, I mean, that's the stuff I consume, is like, you know, stock videos and like real estate videos. And, you know, if anything, I'm consuming like classroom, like Fleek, you know, to come back to the whole, you know, I'm getting educated in a way that is never been brought to my attention. I mean, I want to learn the A-game skills that aren't taught in schools, and I want to start using that with capital as soon as possible. But I know it's going to take a lot of time to study, right? Like things like, you know, like we've talked about in the past, like you want to live, you know, where you rent, and you want to rent where you own. Like those concepts in an economy like we're moving into more and more now, it's just going to make more sense if you start studying, right? Like most people do, what they want to do is they want to buy a house, because that's just what people do, right? And I love that. I think it's great. But in this market, like, you better be really good about where you, like, if you buy a house in Austin 10 years ago, you're good. If you buy a house right now in Alexandria, Virginia, you're good. Amazon's coming to Austin, or Tesla's coming to Austin. Same thing with Alexandria. Amazon's coming to Austin. Oklahoma City might be a good market. I hope that the market's going to start growing here. In this area, it generally grows slowly, and you're good to go. But if I were to purchase a house, I know that I'm not going to get the education from school this way. I want to get 30 grand a year liquid passive income from that house, and I'm going to live at half the rate of at a rental property, right, or at a, you know, pay rent somewhere, so I could own a rental property. But I understand if you got a family, you know, like these kinds of things, like selling skills, sales skills, the real estate market, like more about like stock, running a business, leadership, personal development. Like this is my Netflix these days. This is my Amazon. But I'm doing it for a reason. Like you're doing it for as a filmmaker to make films.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I'd like to lead an organization. So I think that I can't ask people to follow me unless I have some reason that they'd ever want to follow me for.
Sure. Yeah.
It has to come out in my voice. It has to come out in my thinking, my strategy, my execution, everything that I'm doing. Other people have to say, wow, it's worth actually trying to get involved with his business, right? As a filmmaker, you'd have to say the same thing. You can hold your own on these podcasts with all these producers and people who've been in TV because you're constantly feeding yourself. You're spoon feeding yourself this content, this information, and you've studied for it for years and you've worked in it. So you're coming to a point where you're going to be a leader in film, right? If you continue this trajectory, as long as you continue to push yourself past that previous threshold, So I think that's what it's all about, is you want to be a leader in your industry, in your field. You've got to be worth following.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm focusing on, my passion. I'm focusing on what I want to make.
Right.
And so I'm watching stuff that I want to make stuff like. And
Right.
yeah, couldn't agree more. TechFall just got the TNT app.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
what's all the hype about the TNT app you're talking about, Tech?
AEW, man, that's where it's at, dude.
AEW wrestling, brother.
Yeah,
Tell us
AEW
what you're
wrestling,
wearing.
man.
Tell us what wardrobe put you in tonight, Tech.
Dude, I actually stole this from Orange Cassidy's dressing room, dude. Like the shirt, bro?
Classic Tech.
A little
Right
shout out to Freshly Squeezed.
Yeah, freshly squeezed, dude. I love it, man. I saw that debate, man. It was great. It reminded me of Will Ferrell from Old School, man, when he was talking about
That guy's
global.
got a great fucking gimmick, dude. He's going to be the next big wrestler since The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena. Like he found a way to poke fun at wrestling and yet be phenomenal at it at the same time. It's such a funny, such a hilarious, fun gimmick to follow.
Yeah, speaking of pro wrestling, man, did you see that the Rock is buying XFL?
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that.
The Rock is just going to buy it.
He's a great investor, dude.
Yeah, well, he's splitting it with his ex-wife, so they're going halves.
Go halvesies. Hey, babe, you want to go halvesies on XFL? Yeah, sure, why not?
Dude, he's getting it for dirt cheap, man. 15
I'm
million.
sure he fucking is.
15 million because they're in foreclosure or they're in bankruptcy right now.
Because we're in a down market. Yeah, exactly. He's buying low, dude. He's probably always wanted to own a franchise. Always wanted to own a team.
But I think it's
what you're
great.
saying. So what you're saying is you buy low and sell high.
Well, he's going to turn a profit. He's going to turn a profit into it, definitely for sure. I mean, because for one thing, it's brand new, and it was like I was a big fan of the XFL, and I had tickets to the game this year to see the DC Defenders, and I was all about it, man. Like I would go watch the games on TV, and I think that they made a tremendous stride from the first time that they tried XFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the first time is why they failed is they had all these pro wrestling fans and it wasn't geared to football. It was all a lot of hype, and then the rules were like more geared to pro wrestling as far as the rules went.
Sure.
And so you had all these pro wrestling fans, that's great, and they were doing like these ridiculous interviews on the sideline, and they were doing like it was kind of like pro wrestling promos.
So
that's what they were doing at first.
I think the problem that XFL had was this suspicion that the games were predetermined, just like wrestling was, because it had the same hype and production value.
So this season they did it a lot differently. Like they went in a completely different direction, geared to more actual like playing football, as opposed to like more hype, which is like pro wrestling. Like I think that on that aspect, like it brought out a lot of football fans, and I think with The Rock owning the XFL, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a huge success because he has a strong following, a
Oh
tremendous
yeah.
following. The Rock does. So I think just his presence and the fact that he was a football player,
Hmm.
you know,
Is Vince
which
McMahon going to be part of that? That
no,
new?
because he went into bankruptcy. So The Rock
Yeah,
has total control of it, being
This is
the
like
owner.
but dude, this is like what is it? 3 times the charm now. This is like third time around for XFL.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, there was a pandemic. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like you were losing
Yeah,
tons of
yeah,
money, and you're just starting out. Like you don't
yeah.
yeah.
have the revenue built
Nothing.
up.
Good point.
Like
Good point. Good
like the
point.
NFL has been around for decades.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm saying? And
they took a major
they
fucking
took a
They've
slam.
been around for
major
centuries.
hit. They took a major hit. So they were just unprepared for it. So they had no choice but to go into bankruptcy, and they had to pay all these people money, and then like all the people that bought tickets, they had to refund everybody. It was a financial mess.
Yeah.
So now The Rock has an opportunity to kind of flip it around by 2021. You know, things will start slowly going back into the norm. Um, but I think it's gonna be great. I mean, I think
Well,
they're also probably gonna expand more teams because like this year it was 8 teams. So I think maybe more cities will get involved and probably expand it, just like the
yeah.
NFL did. They had expansion teams. You know, they added Jacksonville Jaguars, and then they added Carolina Panthers.
Well, you got have you been watching baseball games? Like they've got not laugh tracks. Well, first off, they have they got fake audience members.
Yeah, so that's a good point that you said that. So the fake audience members that you can pay to have a cardboard figure of yourself at the game.
That's so
And that's
funny.
probably what that is. And
You
that's
you
probably what I'm looking at right
That's
now.
you pay
100% what you're
you
looking
pay money to get a cardboard image of yourself at the game.
Yeah. And then they got, and instead of like a laugh track, they have an applause track. They got a cheer track. Like they play audio of the crowd fucking cheering,
Yeah,
for like,
I was listening to the game yesterday.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was listening to Orioles game.
I think it
When
was
I
like a
went,
couple of weeks back. I was watching Mariners and Phillies. Yeah, and
it's just kind of the whole thing is just kind of it's kind of funny that they make it realistic. Like people are actually at the game.
yeah,
And when I was listening to it yesterday, I was like, man, wow. I was like, you would think that you're at the game, while you're listening to it on the radio,
yeah.
you know, um, because
And
they still play all the music.
and the announcers are not even there, dude. The announcers are zoomed in,
Yeah.
are zoomed in with Zoom,
Hmm.
or if not, probably something better. Probably a DS line or a fucking or
Yeah.
satellite line or something. But
Did you see that billboard of Weekend at Bernie's, dude? It was hilarious. It was actually at the Kansas City game.
no,
Dude, it was funny, man. It made media headlines. Everybody posted up on Facebook.
weekend Bernie's,
Weekend at
Kansas,
Bernie's, dude. It's funny. It's got Bernie Lomax in there
Kansas City,
as a cardboard figure.
Kansas City game.
Yeah. Or just put in Bernie Lomax cardboard figure or cardboard baseball, and you should be able to pull up an image of it. It's pretty good.
Would you say Bernie Lomax?
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. From Weekend at Bernie's, dude. It was funny.
That is astounding, dude. That is absolutely astounding. I found it. I found it.
Yeah, he's right there, dude.
That's so classic.
Astounding.
Heck yeah. Shoot, anything's possible in 2020. Even Bernie can go to a baseball.
Anything's possible. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been watching the hockey too. I watched hockey for the first time last week. And
Hockey.
yeah, dude, it was completely different. Like because I didn't know that hockey was back on. So I flick on the TV. I was like NHL live. I'm like, what the hell? Like really?
So
Dude,
how are they doing their games? They having fans in
so
there?
no. So what they're doing is they had all the seats covered up.
Right.
All
Mm,
the seats were covered, and it was just weird seeing it. Like
yeah.
I mean, a lot different than the baseball because they're using cardboard figures at the games.
Huge
But
difference.
they
Yeah.
had nobody, and they covered up all the seats. So it's basically kind of like an exhibition game, or a
Right.
scrimmage. But
Or like one of those outdoor.
yeah, or
Yeah.
practice.
That Bernie Lomax shit is so fucking funny though, dude.
Dude, it's hilarious, man. They need to get like a picture of like Orange Cassidy, man. That would be funny. Some like pro wrestlers in there, you know.
Yeah, right.
Like
Like the Rock with his eyebrow up, or just
yeah, or like put the Iron Sheik in there, or Hulk Hogan,
yeah.
or some of the classics.
So Mickey, what's next on the agenda? What's the next set of goals?
So yeah, I just had a pretty downturn month myself because I pushed it so hard the month before. But I'm just looking to level up and grow the business, grow the organization a little bit, and well, a lot of it, but like put a lot of focused, micromanaged. I decided I'm going to start allotting every hour of my time outside of work into a specific goal and task every single day, and just see the kind of results that I get, and start journaling all of the things that I do accomplish versus the goals that I have for that week of the month. And yeah, I mean, on a small level, I'm just I'm plugging away to put enough reserve cash to start thinking about what it would be like, to get back out into either California, Colorado, Atlanta, and start figuring out what the next move is, because this COVID thing's not going anywhere, and people are definitely going to be stagnant. So I think it's a good time to be buying a car and to be moving. Like I think that people are hungry for the regular market stimulation. So I want to try to beat people's movement on that, because I know no one's going anywhere and no one's doing anything. So just getting close to having the capital ready, but just ultimately grow the business and do some podcasts, because we've not been doing podcasts recently, and but mostly just focused on you know, uh, myself and just growing as a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the main 2020 COVID epidemic for me has been I've never been happier and more focused on anything in my life. I've never been more beat up by my, endeavors, but I feel like I'm growing new muscles I never knew I had. And so I'm just ready to keep getting better at management of my time and better at these value exchanges and sales, and grow the business.
Dude, there's not enough hours in the day, bro.
We all get the same 24
There's
though.
not enough hours in the day.
I think the difference is how productive your strategic moves are with your time.
It's just strategy on your day-to-day schedule, man. It's like milking every drop out of every minute, out of every hour.
But trying to figure out how to work in a smarter way without
Yep.
burning out. Because the difference between like somebody puts in 99% and somebody puts in 100% over compound interest is like it's like a 400% difference or something. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
insane large difference. So it
Mm-hmm.
isn't right. What I'm learning is that like working hard is definitely a really important part. But if you have no idea where your limit is, and you're
Work
also
smarter, not harder, man.
right. And so I pushed myself physically as hard as I could, mentally as hard as I could, but I'm not strategically like allotting my time in a way that would probably push things further faster with less effort. That's what my main focus is right now, is
Exactly.
learning how to get more out of my time than the amount of time I'm putting into something.
Yeah. TechFall. What's on the agenda, man? Next month, 2, 3, 6 months.
Just continue to, work on music, man. And I got a lot of tracks that I've been working on. So, I mean, I'm trying to be more creative in some of the projects I've been working on. I love hip hop, so I'll go back to like doing a hip hop track, and then like right now I'm doing something like that's more kind of like house progressive. Um, just like I just uploaded all these different samples on my computer. So I just got a new beat machine, so I've been learning that. Just kind of I had machine, so I got the machine micro MK3. So that's kind of like a little bit different than the regular machine. It's smaller, it's more compact. So if I do like a gig or something, I can easily hook that up to my laptop and the Akai MPK Mini and like just load and go. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it's more accessible. It's easier for me if I do a live gig, which that's what my goal is. When we go back to normal, I definitely want to do some live shows, um, like more performance wise, like production wise. Do some live shows and just play my beats, man. Like I've been just trying to get better, man. That's it. Like I feel like the time that I'm putting into it, man, I'm getting better, dude. It's like I'm being more creative. I got all the equipment that I need. I mean, there's just no excuses. There's no excuses why I shouldn't be pumping out like dope tracks. There's just none. I have everything that I wanted, production wise.
Hmm.
Um, it's just taking the time to learn everything, and I'm still learning Logic. So I don't want to learn. I don't want to put too much on my plate because the other Kai that I have, the keyboard, that has a lot of different programs. So I'm not trying to like overload my brain. Like I'm trying to master one thing at a time. Like I still like want to master machine. Like that's basically my main component is what I'm using is machine, and I can piggyback off of Logic and put that in and kind of fine tune it. If I need to put some vocals to it, I can. Like that's basically what I want to do is make my own music completely. Like use my own vocals and do everything myself. And that's what level I'm trying to get to. I think I can make that happen without having to branch out to other people. And also, I was thinking about doing branching out. Well, branching out to another artist um, that does voiceover work and trying to work on like an intro is like what I want to work on. A completely brand new intro, something new, something really creative, something really cool. Like when I do my sets, like right now we have the intro that I've been using is the intro from that movie with the Zombie Squad joint
Hmm.
with Ray Liotta.
Narc. Yeah.
Narc. So that's like my intro right now because it's like perfect. I mean, I'm thinking about maybe adding some new music to that, maybe some like dope effects. But I definitely want to branch out to this guy. He's a good friend of mine. He does a lot of voiceover work professionally. Um, so that's what I'm kind of debating. I have to talk to him about it to see what we can come up with that's like super creative
Hmm.
and that's really professional, like that I could use because a lot of like these DJs are using like these intros, that are like super
We
duper,
make the best music.
like that are super duper creative.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
it could be like, say, like a minute intro
Well,
or
listen,
a
bro.
minute and a half intro.
But listen, DJ Khaled has had the same fucking intro for like 10 years, man. Like that became his brand, and
And same with DJ Clue back in the day.
yeah.
Like he had that. He was like DJ Clue, DJ Clue. He had some like simple effects to
Yep.
his voice and like just threw that on a track. Because he was doing mixtapes, man, back then. Like this was before DJ Khaled. Like, dude, DJ Clue was like the man back in the day. Like he was working with all these. He had every single artist like known the man on his hip hop mixtapes, and he would just throw that joint in there. that DJ Clue, the professional. Like, he had like the
Yeah.
professional part 2, the
Mhm.
professional part 3, just coming out with these bangers, man. He was
Yeah.
on a Hot 97, man, with a Funkmaster Flex.
Funk
Back in
Master
the
Flex. Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
they were rocking it, man. Like back in the day, man, when the tunnel was bumping
Mm-hmm.
back in New York, man. Like he had everybody on his mixtape, and
Yeah.
that's all he was doing. Like he was selling the. This was before everything went digital.
Selling tapes out
Like
of his trunk, dude.
I mean, but he was more on a higher level than just selling them out of his trunk, because DJ Clue was like
Oh, he
going
was
on
probably selling.
tour.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. He was probably
He was
selling those.
going, dude.
He was selling last week's tapes at this week's show
But he was going on
at the merch
tour.
tape. Yeah, yeah,
DJ Clue was actually going on tour with like he would go on tour with like the Rough Riders,
yeah, dude.
all the like Benny Siegel, all these different artists,
Mm-hmm.
like Jay-Z, like big time that he was doing it, and
Well, you mentioned,
it was funny because I was talking to somebody online, man. I was like, and we were talking about DJ Clue, man. I was like, anybody remember DJ Clue? And like he was at the top of his game, like I want to say like late or 90s, early 2000s, you know,
mm-hmm.
he was like the hottest thing, man, as far as, and then nobody was doing anything after that. I mean, they had like, of course, like the crunk era, um, like DJ Screw was selling mixtapes out the back of his car. He was like the hottest thing in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, that's when like Paul Wall got on, like in like the crunk era, like Paul Wall and everybody from that genre like blew up, and then it kind of faded out. You know, like it's weird. It's kind of funny how the music game changed, especially in hip hop. Like it goes from like New York, and then it went over to Texas. Then it'll go to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it was in the West Coast for a while, like with
Hey,
Snoop
listen,
Dogg and
man.
Dr. Dre.
Well,
Like
dude, like that's when I remember. You know, for me, the big deal was obviously, you know, New York, you know, East Coast, West Coast, and that whole thing. And the like Atlanta took over, like the South really took advantage of that whole beef, and they said, "Look, we're not a part of that, but we got a fuckload of artists." And Outkast, dude, when Outkast first came out with Southern Playalistic, dude, by far, even to this day, my favorite album by Outkast was their first album, Southern Playalistic. Like, dude, who in the last 40 years had like 7-minute, 8-minute rap tracks, dude? You know, like they were like the Metallica of hip hop from South, dude, because Metallica, you know, when Metallica first came out, they had like 6 to 7 to 8-minute long tracks on and Justice for All and Kill 'Em All and Lightning Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All, and Justice for All, Master of Puppets. They had tracks anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes long. And so then Outkast comes out, I think 95 or 96. And on Southern Playalistic, there's like three different tracks that are anywhere between 7 to 9 minutes long. Like just rapping, dude. They had a dope fucking beat, smooth ass fucking beat. And these tracks were like 6 minutes long. You just fucking just chill and jam out to this shit. And obviously it was for potheads, man. It was for like, you know, getting high and just chilling out to.
dude, I love that whole album, dude. It was great.
Dude.
Like, dude, I was listening to Outkast when they came out in like '96.
Yeah, I think it was 96 or 95. Yeah.
I was bumping to Outkast like before they went mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like before Outkast like really blew up, and they started doing more tracks that were like geared toward like the club atmosphere and stuff like that. When they were doing like more mellow tracks geared to all those potheads and stuff like that. Like that's when I really liked Outkast. So like, oh man, this is something different. You know, this is chill. I can dig this.
Yeah, man. Well, look, Mickey, you got any plugs, socials, links you want to put out there?
I mean, same as usual, Patience of Podcasts. We got Oracle Health as well on Instagram. Follow on Facebook. for Pitch the Podcast. And yeah, looking forward to Techchella. Was it 3.0?
Definitely 3.0 TechCella coming up. TechFall, you got any socials, links, plugs you want to put out there?
Yeah, you can follow me on Facebook at Zombie Squad 211. You can hit me up on Instagram at Zombie Squad 211. You can hit me up on Twitch, Zombie Squad 211. Also, you can hit us up on our website, www.deadonpictures.com. You can hit us up on YouTube at Dead On Pictures, Zombie Squad 211. I got a lot of tracks pumping out in the near future. So yeah, just check us out, man. We're just gonna keep grinding.
Well, you heard it here. Viewers, thanks for watching. You know what to do. All the links in the description below, and check us out next time.